Ever wish you could walk around inside of your favorite TV and movie homes? Well, on this channel, you can. Today we'll be exploring the Rosebud Motel from Schitt's Creek, with ceilings in all four walls, like you've never seen it before. Hi, I'm Marina Coates. I have a degree in architecture and an obsession with set design. Welcome to Behind the Scenes, where we get up close and personal with all your favorite TV and movie homes. Today we'll be exploring the set from one of my all-time favorite shows, Schitt's Creek. Let's get started. We'll begin with an overhead view to help us get our bearings. On the left is Johnny and Moira's room. Their entrance is here. Their bed is here. Their kitchenette is on this end. Next to that is their closet. Their bathroom is here, with Moira's makeup table just outside. And their dining room table is here. This is the connecting door that leads to the room David and Alexis share. Their bathroom is here. The closet here, next to their desk. The dining table is here. And their beds are on this end, next to their entrance. The motel. The Roses were an affluent family living an extremely lavish lifestyle, when circumstances in the form of a dishonest accountant handed them a very different life than they'd been used to. An abrupt downfall that landed them in the town of Schitt's Creek, living in side-by-side motel rooms. Fun fact. Even though their life in the mansion is shown in the first episode, it was not actually filmed until the last day of shooting that season. From the moment they arrive, disappointment is written on their faces as they examine their new home. But to be fair, for an old motel, the rooms are actually an impressive size. Take a guess at the square feet of each of these motel rooms. Each room came in at 450 square feet. By the way, the real-life motel that was used for the exterior shots is in Mono, Ontario, and was recently listed for $1.6 million. David and Alexis's room. Annie Murphy, who played Alexis Rose, had just turned 29 when the show first aired. When she auditioned for the role, she actually hadn't acted in about 2 years and was very low on cash and was close to giving up on her acting career. On the first day of shooting, she was so nervous and unsure of herself that she said she was tempted to just walk off the set. Aren't we lucky that she stuck it out? She brought such life to the role. Those hand gestures and facial expressions, the little boops on the nose, and of course, her way of saying, David. In fact, while her iconic, "Ooh, David," was only uttered 3 times during the whole series, the phrase has made its way onto bumper stickers, license plates, t-shirts, and more. She was cheery, upbeat, unconventional, a bit of a hippie, and doesn't really appear to judge anyone. Who else could have played Alexis? Dan Levy is beyond genius. He and his father created the series. Dan also wrote many of the episodes and even directed a few. But it's his portrayal of David Rose that won my heart. The character is just so dang likable. Insecurities, sarcasm, and all. And the faces he makes. Actually, he and Annie both. I've often wondered, since they were playing siblings, if they purposely displayed similar mannerisms and expressions. If that was indeed the plan, they played it to perfection. And their sibling rivalry rivaled no other. One of the most relatable sibling pairings in television history. Squabbles, put-downs, and jealousy. Who had to sleep closest to the door? Whose turn it was to get to be selfish? But somehow still managing to convince us that they actually loved each other and had each other's backs, because they did. His father, Eugene Levy, who played Johnny Rose, has said that he worried about Dan's acting skills initially. He knew Dan had been a natural on MTV, but didn't know for sure if he could pull his weight in a TV series. Well, I guess he can cross that off his worry list. Now, before we start the tour, scenes that took place in the kids' room. Johnny and David arguing over David's misuse of his company card for purchasing new items for his room, with the misunderstanding that he can just write them off as a business expense, much to Johnny's dismay. Alexis receiving a special gift from Mutt, completely unsuited to her lifestyle, and providing David fodder to rib his sister. Moira practicing for her one-woman show, One Crazy Summer, the Patty Hearst story. Inviting friends over to recruit them into a cosmetic sales pyramid scheme, with David's face in heavy makeup. And Alexis appearing in a white dress she plans to wear to David's wedding, much to David's chagrin. He argues that when she walks him down the aisle, it will look like they're a couple. One of my favorite features in this room and the parents' room is the deep teal floor-to-ceiling brick in a stack bond pattern. It grounds the room and gives it a vibrant, warm, homey vibe, as well as adding visual interest to a room that could have otherwise been rather drab. This is where Alexis did her makeup and studied for her college courses. And this is where they somehow stuffed in their seemingly endless supply of wardrobe changes. As we move around the room, you're probably noticing some Easter eggs. Easter eggs are little items from specific episodes that real fans of the show will recognize. At the end of all the tours, I'll reveal them to you. We only get brief glimpses of the kids' bathroom, but from what we do see, we know there's a mirror over a small sink with a window and a skimpy towel bar underneath, only big enough for one towel, and a shower here. I love how the set designers made everything just barely tolerable for a long stay. It silently adds to the humor. After fighting over who had to sleep closest to the door, David loses and ends up with his bed here, most likely to get attacked first by an intruder. And to lend credence to the fact that the motel is not exactly state-of-the-art, the TVs in the room aren't even flat screens, and no streaming service is available, just a DVD player underneath the old set. Another interesting feature is the little partial wall dividers with thin braided brass columns. If you're curious about how I create these tours, then you might be interested in my Patreon page, where for only $5 a month you get a backstage pass to the whole process from the ground up, plus all the fun facts and obstacles I discover along the way. And you'll get to see all of the tours before I post them on YouTube without narration, only music. I'll put the link below. Johnny and Moira's room. Oh my, if I hadn't already loved Catherine O'Hara from all of her film roles, this series would have sealed the deal. A veteran actor, Catherine was 60 when the show started. I didn't truly appreciate her mad skills until I listened to her describe how she went about creating the character of Moira. She didn't want to just play the stereotypical rich lady thrown into money woes. Oh no, she wanted to create something fresh and new and put her own spin on it. And spin she did. What she came up with was almost beyond comprehension. In particular, the unique and strangely unidentifiable accent, going down with her inflections at the end of sentences, raising and lowering her volume at whim, indiscriminately and unexpectedly holding out words, giving them extra syllables. Holy cow, how did she do that? I want her voice for my GPS. And then those outrageous wigs, so full of personality that she actually gave them names. Kristen and Robin don't get along. Maureen doesn't like to be manhandled. I had so much fun adding Moira's wigs to the wall in the tour you're about to see, because I knew that I could make them as crazy as I wanted, and they still wouldn't be out of character for her. Eugene Levy, who was 69 when the show started, played Johnny Rose, and he recently got his star on the Walk of Fame. Catherine O'Hara was there to speak, and as she introduced him, she mentioned that he himself didn't think he was funny. And although he often played the part of the straight man for the group, just like the others, his facial expressions, reactions, and timing gave just the right comedic flair to the character of Johnny Rose. One of my favorite things about this TV couple, it was obvious that they actually loved each other, a somewhat rare occurrence on TV shows, which often portray married couples as bickering and throwing snarky barbs at each other. But not these two. They left that to the kids. Many things are the same in the kids' room and the parents' room. But there are differences you'll notice as we take the tour of both of them together coming up. How can you immediately know which room you're in when you watch a scene? The main differences in the two rooms are the kitchenette in the parents' room, one bed instead of two, and two nightstands instead of a single one, with Moira's, of course, full of books. A lounge chair in the parents' room versus a love seat in the kids'. A makeup table that's very different from the desk in the kids' room. The wallpaper in the bathroom differs too. One looks somewhat Art Deco, and the other more mid-mod, which suggests that the motel made piecemeal upgrades over the years, rather than all at once, or perhaps going with whatever was on sale. Here's a fun fact for you. When we're inside the motel and we see someone walking in or out a door, and we think we're seeing the beautiful outdoors, it's actually just being filmed in a studio with a green screen. Amazing, right? And yet, when we see them leave the motel room and we're watching from the outside, it's actually being filmed outside. Scenes that took place in Johnny and Moira's room. Moira hiding out on the floor of her closet during one of her depressive episodes. Johnny babysitting for Roland and Jocelyn. Moira misunderstanding how hot and cold water work in a sink. And Johnny being surprised by a gift from Moira, the gigantic family portrait from their former home. But wait, how did they get that in the room? As we take the full tour now, look for Easter eggs around the rooms. Those are specific items from different episodes that true fans of the show will recognize. I'll reveal all of them to you at the end of the tour. This was a riches to rags story, but the Rose family's greatest treasure grew out of that fall. We watched them grow much closer together as a family, and we saw each of them grow as individuals too, gaining confidence and finding new strengths, letting go of toxic friends and behaviors from their pasts, embracing the townspeople, quirks and all, rolling up their sleeves and really becoming a part of the community and all that it had to offer. They quit judging small-town life, and its people in turn, the people of Schitt's Creek, stopped judging them for who they were and where they came from, and instead found themselves embracing them and accepting them for who they were. Dan Levy, in describing what this show has done for him, said, "It's given me time to think about life and what the true value of love and joy is, and that it is rarely, rarely, rarely tied to anything financial. When we watch the show, we come for the laughs, but we stay for the warm feelings that exude from this little corner of the world. The Rose family and the citizens of this small town saw past their differences, the things that can divide us, the things that can pit us against each other, the things that make it us versus them, and instead learn to see the person rather than the label. Who wouldn't want to live in a town like that? Or for that matter, a world like that? Okay, let's see if you found all the Easter eggs. The college brochure that Alexis held up when she attended college the first day, and her certificate that she earned, which had a slight misspelling. Johnny's book called Fast Forward to Success. The heart-shaped cookie that said 4 months, a gift from Patrick to David that caused him a lot of embarrassment. And the Jazzagales program announcement that Moira tucked in the mirror. Now for you super sleuths out there, see how many of these items you can spot. These were hidden in more obscure places. The Schitt's Creek DVD collection, DVDs of various movies that Catherine O'Hara has starred in, and a book about the movie The Crows Have Eyes 3, The Crowaning. I even threw in a magazine with the Schitt's Creek cast on the front. That was in the first tour. See how many of these you can find. What TV or movie home tour would you like to see next? Let me know in the comments. But as for today, that's a wrap. See you next time on Behind the Scenes.